morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. I hope you are good. I hope you are well. What can we say? What can we do? I am raging. I am fuming. I am seething. I am so upset that the Morgan Gibbs White deal didn't go through. People have been saying, did you put any foolish bets on? I said, no. I just feel foolish for thinking this would get done, for believing that the one thing Daniel Levy is good at is off the field antics. And these type of things, I believed on this transfer. I ran my mouth on this transfer. I've had a lot of grief coming at me from Nottingham Forest fans. And you know what? Fair play. Fair play. Like I said, if you're big enough to criticise, you've got to be big enough to praise. It's the same. If you're big enough to run your mouth, you've got to be man enough to take it, or woman enough. Fair play, Nottingham Forest and the fans. And Marinakis and then Morgan Gibbs White for playing us like a fiddle, for making us look so embarrassing, for making us look stupid. I got suckered in on the Morgan Gibbs White deal. I really did. I thought there was so much going on behind the scenes that things were going to change. Then I was out at a barbecue yesterday when the news broke, and as you can imagine, my phone went nuts with the Morgan Gibbs White news. Sorry, I wasn't at a family barbecue. I was at a friend's birthday barbecue with some wonderful friends, having a wonderful time. But as you can imagine, my mood got highly affected by the revelation that this has all gone to pot. Tottenham Hotspur once again, 2 weeks wasted on sacking Ange, whether you wanted him sacked or not. 2 weeks wasted, and I'm bringing in Thomas Frank, who I'm still delighted with. Still think he'll do great things, but he's going to have to do with what he's got. And yeah, this is where we are. It's just another clusterfuck at this football club. Since that barbecue, I've hardly slept. And things have just been going on in my mind. So I've just been piecing together a couple of things that I'm going to read because they're quite extensive for me to be on a rant, and just don't want to lose track on what I'm saying. One based on Morgan Gibbs White and this fiasco of a transfer and our transfer strategy, if you want to call it that. And the other one on the state of this football club and our fall from grace. Well, you're going to hear it, like I said. So I'm going to start off with the first one. And the first one I've named From Trailblazers to Bargaining Chips. How Spurs keep losing and why Morgan Gibbs White has to be the final straw for many people, I hope. So here we go. This isn't being premiered, so I'd love your comments in the chat, in the comment section afterwards on how you felt on this. Also, we're on the road to 10,000, so if you can, drop a like and a subscribe to help the channel. It would be absolutely brilliant. So here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Spurs fans, fellow sufferers. Morgan Gibbs White isn't just another name. He was the player. The fit, the missing link, the kind of signing that turns midfield slogs into vibrant, flowing attacks. Young, Premier League proven, hungry, passionate, technical, and still on the rise. But guess what? We've lost him. Not because of money, Not necessarily because of Daniel Levy fumbling at this time, but because of something worse. Because Tottenham Hotspur are no longer a club that ambitious players believe in. That is the truth. And if you're going to find that uncomfortable, good, because it should hurt. Morgan Gibbs-White might have looked at Spurs and seen chaos. He might have seen a club that sacks managers for fun, that doesn't back their coaches or managers with the players that they need or want, that flirts with ambition but never commits. And in that sense, maybe this time, the whole crux of this is not on Levy for this particular transfer. But do you know why that shouldn't let Levy off the hook? Because we've become this club, kind of club under him. The kind of club that does all the scouting, all the groundwork, holds the initial talks, and then watches the smarter, better run clubs come in and seal the deal. Because we don't just miss out on players. Because we don't just miss out on players, we're now the club that helps bigger clubs and do their work for them. We've become the stocking horse, the audition room, the stepping stone. How many times have we seen it? And I'm just going to name a few. We tracked Luis Diaz for months, did all the legwork, reports, analytics, scouting, and then just when we'd done all the work and the fee, Liverpool walk in and wrap it up. A player that they are now selling because they have bought pure quality and need to bring money in, and because the quality is getting so good, off you go for a good price. Jack Grealish, we had him. He was in Levy's house. We thought we were clever. Haggled over the fee when Villa were desperate for money. And instead of getting the deal done and a quality player in, Levy smelt blood and wanted to inflict further pain on a wounded animal. Only for Villa to be taken over by a billionaire and Grealish taken off the market. City come along years later, and he's won everything in sight. Bruno Fernandes, the Christian Eriksen replacement. The one that, like normal, we try and get the player out before we get the replacement in, rather than getting the replacement in and then the player out. Met his family, sorted personal terms. And guess what? Lowballed. Man U came in, closed the deal in days. A player we currently have, James Maddison. Should have joined us from Norwich. We watched, we waited. Leicester acted. They got 5 great years for him. We then paid £40 million for him when his best years were behind him. We've become a club that repairs the runway for someone else's private jet to land. We are the transfer market's warm-up act. Other clubs use us. They know we'll make contact, do the analysis, generate press coverage, test the waters, and then when the price is right or the player becomes unsettled, bang! In comes Chelsea, United, that lot down the road, Liverpool, many others. And then we go in for their cast-offs that are deemed surplus to requirements due to better quality coming in. And we're left with the press clippings and an angry fan base. And if that wasn't humiliating enough, now we're also a negotiation tool. Agent will name drop us in contract renewals. Spurs are interested in the player. We have Premier League options and clubs cave in. Pay rises are handed out. New deal signed. And we're just left there wondering what the hell has happened. We are not just missing out on top players. We are being played, used, manipulated, mocked. And what's worse is that we've allowed this to happen because we don't act with urgency, because our chairman thinks a negotiation is a battle to win, not a relationship to build. Because our targets are leaked, our intentions obvious, our hands are always either played way too early or simply way too late to show our hand. We've become predictable, weak, uninspiring. So when Morgan Gibbs-White looks at this club and says, nah, I think I'll stay here and take a bumper payday, can't even blame him. Because would you trust this club with your career? Would you look at the past 5 years and say, yes, this is where I'll thrive? Ask Tanguy and Dembele, ask Brian Hill, ask Giovanni Lo Celso, ask Pedro Porro, as well as many others. Romero's comments maybe ill-timed, but they are absolutely bang on the money. Promises made, systems broken, manager changed, and career left in limbo. The failure to get Morgan Gibbs-White, despite all the logic pointing to him being behind a bit. Sorry, let me start again. The failure to get Morgan Gibbs-White, despite all the logic pointing to him to being a perfect signing, isn't just disappointing, it's damning. It tells us that even when the fit is right, even when the player is attainable, even when the team is crying out for his profile, we will still find a way to fail, no matter what. And I'll go over the players we just mentioned. Look over the players we just mentioned. And you can look, you can dress it up all you like. You can say it's just one player. You can say the window is still open. You can say trust the process. But this is the process. This is the pattern. This club, this proud club that gave us the Gascoignes, the Ginolas, the Bowes, the Modrics, and the Van der Vaarts is now synonymous with hesitation, caution, and embarrassment in the market. We used to lead. We used to dictate. Now we're the open bid. We're the decoy. We're the sucker at the poker table who lays his cards out first and folds before the game gets interesting. And it has to change. Not next window, not next season, but right here, right now. Because the longer we accept this, the more the soul of this club dies. Morgan Gibbs-White isn't the only player we've lost, but he may just be the latest symbol of everything we've become. A club that dared, a club that dreamt, and now we are a club that are being done over again and again and again. So that is the Morgan Gibbs-White situation. Let me know what your thoughts were. As I said, this one we've got. We have players that fail medicals or medicals go away and we lose them. The Dybalas, the Grealishes, and now the first release fee met 2-week debacle ends up with a bumper payday, and we're left flying to career. Kudos and to Kai, the new additions, finished 17th. Like last season, one first teamer in. I'm not counting Tell and Danso last season. £1 million out the door in Keeley. Other teams refreshing. What did winning that Europa League do? Springboard for success, we were told. Springboard for success. We must use this. We want the Premier League. We want the Champions League. Good. So now it wouldn't be a Dagul rant without a look at the man Daniel Levy and the way this club has been run. Again, leave your comments. Again, you may not agree with me. You may disagree with me wholeheartedly. But on the other side, you may agree with everything I say. But here we go. Daniel Levy, the man who ripped the soul out of Tottenham Hotspur. A speech of truth, of fury, of pain, of love. Tottenham Hotspur, a club built on glory, ambition, identity and soul, now reduced to a global joke under the long, miserable reign of Daniel Levy, the man who thinks football begins and ends on the balance books. The truth is, this man has failed us on the footballing side over and over and over again. And I'm here not to be polite, not to be patient, but to deliver what I think is the raw, honest, gut-wrenching truth that he refuses to hear and the media refuses to say. I've broken this down into sections. So the first section is the greatest lie in football. We're building for the future. We've been sold the same lie for 23 years. Next season, we'll push on. We're laying the foundations. The stadium will help us compete. Be patient. Enough. We've been patient whilst other clubs passed us, laughed at us, overtook us and won. We've been patient while managers came and went like characters in a tragedy. We've been patient while Kane broke records but ended up with nothing to show for it. What do we have? 2 trophies in 25 years. 2 seasons of genuine title pushes, and even with that, Levy failed to back. A 62,000-seater stadium with no soul. The only foundations Levy laid were for PR spin, broken promises, and commercial hype and growth. Transfers, penny pinching, panic buying, pure incompetence. The next section. No club talks more and does less than Tottenham Hotspur under Daniel Levy. How many times have we seen our rivals act early, act boldly, whilst we haggle over 5 million for a key target? He treats transfer windows like a high-stake game of chicken, and he loses almost every single time. Levy used to be the biggest bully in the yard. He used to be the biggest shark in the ocean. Now he's just a confused goldfish swimming in circles whilst everyone laughs. Every summer, the same script. Linked to God knows how many players, haggle for weeks, lowball, wait, get gazumped, panic buy someone we never wanted, call it strategy. It's not a strategy, it's self-sabotage. While others act early and decisively, Liverpool, City, Chelsea, United, Arsenal, and many other clubs, both domestically and in Europe, we sit with our hands tied because Levy wants a bargain. We don't win titles by cutting out coupons. Just a few horror stories. Willian had his medical at Spurs. Levy stalled. Chelsea took him. Hazard. Agreed terms. We wouldn't pay the fee. Chelsea took him when they won the Champions League. Martinho. Skriniar. Saha. Trossard with all that nonsense. Kim and Jay. All missed because either Levy wouldn't spend or waited too long. Dybala. Deal collapsed because he wouldn't pay the image rights. That's right. The image rights. Forget the success he'd bring or the quality that he'd bring with him. Bruno Fernandes, I discussed, and Grealish we discussed. But don't worry. We'll go get Clement Longley on loan. Get Gedson Fernandes. We'll get Vinicius, Hill, Lo Celso, Sanchez, and Dembele. £200 million of utter waste. It's criminal, and we've lived through it year after year after year. Wages is the next one. Second-class ambition. Tottenham under Daniel Levy offers you this deal. Come and play for us. Accept less than everyone else. Be loyal. Be patient. That's the wage policy. Wages, because under Levy, Spurs are the budget airline of the Premier League. We offer top 4 expectations with bottom half wages. We expect players to bleed for the shirt while offering contracts that scream irreplaceable. We lose out on targets not because of our name or our manager or our stadium, but because Levy refuses to pay market value. While other clubs around us are bold, we sit and haggle like we're at a boot sale or a yard sale here in North America. You can't run a big club with small club thinking. Managerial graveyard. Here lies Pochettino, betrayed after building the best side in a generation. Mourinho sat before a final he could have won. Conte, too honest to survive. Nuno, thrown to the Lions, 10th on the list, at least 10th. AVB, Redknapp, Joel, Sherwood, Mason, Stellini, Mason again. What manager could thrive in this chaos? What philosophy can survive in a system built to implode? Levy doesn't support managers, he uses them. When it suits him, for PR, for optics, for buying time. And when they speak up, he buries them. But a manager is only as good as his tools, and Daniel Levy gives them hammers made out of jelly. Harry Kane, a tragedy of Levy's making. Kane was the embodiment of Tottenham Hotspur. He gave this club everything. He stayed through rebuilds, broken promises and failed transfer windows. He begged for support. Instead, he got Ryan Mason in a cup final. He got Davinson Sanchez as a centre-back partner. He got Winks and Sissoko in midfield during the biggest games of his life. You let Harry Kane leave, not because he wanted to, but because he had to. You fouled the greatest goal scorer this club has ever had. You let his prime years rot in a system that he was never built to win in. You couldn't even replace him properly. Stadium of dreams, more like the stadium of excuses. We were told the stadium would be the turning point, that we'd finally compete with the big boys. Instead, record profits, record ticket prices, but on the pitch, the same directionless, stale, broken football. But we've got Guns N' Roses, the NFL, Beyonce, Skywalks, Michelin-star chefs at the restaurants, F1 experiences, boxing. A manager hasn't even been here long enough to get a proper one of his rebuilds. What we got is not a football stadium. It's a venue for hire, as opposed to a footballing fortress. And when we demand footballing success, Levy hides behind the bricks, the lights, the concerts, the events, the skywalk, the F1 experience, the PR bullshit interviews, and pre-selected people and questions at the fan forums to inflate his ego. The fans, the true victims of all this, the bullshit production that is Levy and Enoch. We are the ones who keep this club alive. Back home, the fans that travel up and down the country, home, away, Europe, the international fans that fly in. And when we're here, or wherever the international fans in the world watching this, wake up at silly o'clock in the morning to watch our beloved Tottenham Hotspur go to battle, or they stay up till the late hours or crack of dawn and go to work with no sleep to watch our beloved football club. And what do we get? Lies, gaslighting, exploitation. While Levy cashes his bonus checks, he has people paying up to £3,000 for season tickets. And we're watching players that have been here for 9, 10, 11 seasons and on the way out. The fans are tired. We're heartbroken. We're angry. We're frustrated. And hopefully now we are awake, finally. Final verdict. You've had your chance. You've had your chance. The investment, broken promises. 13 full-time managers. I think it's up to 16 when you include caretakers or interims. Hundreds of £1 spent on the wrong players. Hundreds of millions that could have been spent on the right players. The quality rather than the quantity. The wage bill. Just shocking. 1 League Cup and 1 Europa League. One glorious team that you let rot on the vine, or one glorious club that you've let rot on the vine. Let me make this clear. When it comes to football and matters, he has been a disaster, a walking contradiction, a man who clings to power while strangling the soul out of this once great club. Yes, he built us a stadium. Yes, he built us the training ground. Yes, commercially, he's done brilliantly. But this is a football club, not a bloody corporation. This is Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, built on pride, built on passion, built on glory, built by Bill Nicholson, Perryman, Greaves, Blanchard, Mackay, Hoddle, Mabbott, Gaza, Klinsmann, King, Kane. Not by corporate deals, not by NFL, not by boxing and all the other events and Amazon documentaries. Let's call it what it is. We've been conned. We've been sold a dream by a man who never gave a damn about winning, only about spending less and earning more. Tottenham Hotspur should not be run like an investment fund. This is not ENIC FC. This is not a hedge fund portfolio. This is Tottenham Hotspur, a football club with heart, with pride. And to paraphrase Bill Nick, it's better to fail aiming high than to succeed aiming low. Like I said, well done for the Europa League. Well done. But this is over 25 years. It's an outrage. We are a stocking horse. We are a bargaining chip. And we go to Korea probably today at some point with Mohamed Kudus as the only first team player to improve this football club. Thomas Frank, I will support you all the way. You're going to have one hell of a job on you. Like I said, guys, leave your thoughts and comments in the section. Hope you enjoyed or didn't, whatever. Let's just see what happens next in the bullshit production. That is Daniel Levy and ENIC's Tottenham Hotspur. Like, please subscribe and help us get to 10,000. Share, comment,